really got it bumping. Leg drop, boot to the face, we won't fold. Quick to put a dude in this place, he out cold. With a tombstone, grapple the waist, get laid flat. Can't escape, nowhere to go, the cage match. It's on now, when I spot him, it's no problem. Everybody stone cold till they hit with the rock bottom. Sharpshooter, I won't miss him like Bret Hart. Like Al Snow, they gon' need him a head start. I just might catch a better body than Mickey James. Get acquainted with the name, we bringin' the pain. Like Kane in the ring, all I see is red. Paul era, Undertaker, I can see the dead. John Cena putting hands in your face. Ted DiBiase, keep a milli on the waist. B2TF, better stay in your place or get smacked down, play it safe. What you talking about?
Welcome to another episode of Boot to the Face here live on YouTube. I'm Chris Rucker along with my co-host E.J. Reed, and we are Boot to the Face. E.J., how the hell you been?
Man, I can't complain. New year, another season of Boot to the Face. Let's get it. Season 7.
No new year, new me?
It's too cliche and corny. I try to be the best me year round.
Oh, look at you. Talk about corny.
How's it going on your end, man?
I'm doing well. Had a good weekend, had a good New Year's, had a good week altogether. I'll be at AEW Collision, Front Row Rucker this weekend on Saturday. That'll be fun. I'm trying to secure some tickets for WWE NXT here in Atlanta the day after they're here for Monday Night Raw. I'm not going to Monday Night Raw as of now. I'm trying to get tickets through my job, but I'm not paying for them. Those tickets are pretty damn high. But if my job gives me some, I'll go to Raw. But I will pay for tickets to go to NXT at Center Stage because that is a really good venue. I've seen NXT there before. It's a lot of fun. I'm excited about seeing some of my favorite NXT people in person. So yeah, ticket pre-sales for that go on tomorrow. So hopefully I get some good seats for that.
That's what's up. When is the NXT?
NXT is January 28th, and Monday Night Raw is January 27th here in Atlanta. So I could be in Atlanta 2 nights in a row, or no nights in a row. Who knows? Shout
You
out
said
to Kayfabe
NXT
Chronicles.
My bad. You said NXT, and then what was the other thing?
Monday Night Raw.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you said the tickets were too high or highest rap.
So I don't know if you were paying attention last night on Netflix. Roman Reigns said he wants to be acknowledged on January 27th. January 27th is when Monday Night Raw is here in Atlanta. Will The Rock be here? I don't know. Maybe that's why the tickets are so fucking high.
I just think that's what the trend is. I mean, or maybe both. I don't know.
Right. Who knows?
And you said Collision is Saturday.
This Saturday, yep.
That's in Athens. Is that in Athens?
Athens, Georgia. So I'll be out there partying at UGA with a bunch of children. Not really children, by the way. People, get your minds out of the gutter. They're college kids. I'm just in my 40s.
Yeah. No Diddy or no Drake.
Wait, you can't just say that about Drake just because Kendrick put it in a song.
I heard he like him young. Saw him kissing a 17-year-old on stage.
When was this?
In his mid-20s. It's all over Twitter. This is when he it was closer to when he came out, but he was in his mid-20s, and he said, "I don't care if he's 17. I like the way your
said
breast
that?
Yeah, he said, "I like the way your breast feels against my chest," and then kissed her on the cheeks and then the lip.
I'm gonna have to see this video. I don't want to take this out of context. It's fucked up.
Yeah. So, but I digress. Is having it at Athens in the basketball stadium?
I don't know what stadium they're having it in. I can't remember the name of it, but it only seats about 2,000 people, and
that's perfect.
They've sold about 1,000 tickets. So it's also we're supposed to have a big. We're supposed to have a big. A big snowstorm here in Atlanta with 3 to 4 inches on Friday. So chances are the whole Metro Atlanta is going to be shut down. Just my luck. So more than likely, my job will be shut down on Friday, and then I'll have to go to work on Saturday, so that'll make my day lame. But I don't think the snow's gonna affect the AEW show at all. It shouldn't.
Let's hope not. I mean, 2000. So yeah, they can't. They're probably not at the UGA basketball. They might be at another venue then.
Yeah, I can't remember
But
the name of it. I'd have to look it up. I'll have the name of it next week when I come back and tell you about how much fun I had. I'm looking forward to seeing like Tony Storm and Red Velvet and Swerve, and I'm hoping all these people are there. I hope there's a ROH taping afterwards.
yeah, now with no Dynamite, I mean, excuse me, Rampage, they probably are gonna film a lot more ROH like on the Collision days and the Dynamite days.
I'm reading the chat, and Kayfabe Chronicles is giving me shit because he's from Canada. He said, "Ooh, 3 to 4 inches of snow. That's a fucking Monday where I'm from." I know that. I was in Colorado a couple weeks ago. It snowed like shit, and we were still able to drive around and do whatever. But the infrastructure here in the South, it just isn't cut out for snow. Like, we put our money into other stuff, like taking away women's rights and banning the gays. You know, like we ain't got time for snow.
Yeah, and not to not to mention him directly, just as a general comment. It's funny how like people like that try to out miserable you. Like, you know what? We got tens and thousands of piles of snow. Like, man, so I guess. I mean, it sounds miserable.
Right. No wonder Canadians are always unhappy.
Or
They're in the snow
or
all the fucking time.
or vice versa. If like somebody in a hot area is like 110 degrees in summer. Well, we had to
Yeah.
walk through the sun. Sorry for you, but I mean, it's nothing to be like proud about.
We had to go uphill both ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
No.
funny. But we
yeah.
had a lot of wrestling going on this past week, EJ. Let me pull up our notes and we will dive right the fuck into it because we got a lot to talk about. Raw debuted on Netflix this week. Wrestle Kingdom and Wrestle Dynasty took place. I'm not gonna lie to you. I watched way more Wrestle Dynasty than I watched Wrestle Kingdom this weekend.
I watched both, but I enjoyed Wrestle Dynasty more.
I did too.
My thing is, if I'm watching it on replay, I watch it a little bit. I put the speed up. That makes things go so much faster, but not high enough where it's like it sounds like the chipmunks or anything. Just fast enough where the action's moving a little bit faster than sitting through like 5 hours of wrestling. I put it like at 1.25, and that's the sweet spot.
I agree with Kayfabe Chronicles. He says if you get to go to NXT, you get GG Live. Yeah, you're right. GG, Jada Parker, Lola Vice. You know, my favorite wrestlers. No reason I'd like to see them live. Trick Williams also. I'd like to see him live. I want to say whoop that Trick.
Yeah, he might not be champion by then.
Don't do that.
I mean, what if I got Oba? He's a beast.
What if the other motherfucker wins? Eddie Thorpe, this fucking guy. What's he even doing in the match?
He'll be winning twice in life then.
Let's not go too far off the rails. We also got EJ put in here a bold or not so bold prediction for the new year. Street Clothes Rest of the Week and Power Rankings. So, EJ, I'll let you choose our adventure today. Where would you like to start?
Since it's so fresh and so monumental, we should kick it off with Netflix Raw premiering on Netflix.
WWE Monday Night Raw for the first time ever, not on cable television. I was watching it with my girlfriend, and it debuted the year before she was born. So I felt like an old motherfucker. But I told her, I said, your entire life, Raw has been on cable television, and this is the first time that it hasn't. She was like, she looked me right in my eyes, and she goes, babe, I do not give a fuck.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like since we're so used to TV, it's been on, for 30 years or what 93 debut and now it's not on TV. But I mean, streaming TV, it's all the same. Like they try
Yeah.
to make a bigger deal of it with it than what it is.
I mean, it is a big deal though. Like the quality of the picture looked way better. First off, um, and being able, to cuss, uh, being able to go as long as you want. Basically, like they could do a 2 hour show, they could do a 4 hour show, they could do whatever the fuck they want. Like it is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, like little tweaks here and there, but for the most part, it's wrestling and you're watching it on a TV. I get it. I get it. Like I feel like Nick Khan said, they're not gonna go overboard with the cursing. Rock said shit, and they didn't bleep out the crowd cursing. Um, I don't know. We could get into like the actual experience of watching it. I guess it went pretty seamlessly for you.
Yeah, I had no issue. I know a lot of people claim they had buffering issues and shit like that, but mine was perfect. I was able to pause it. I was able to rewind. Like I was just kind of like when it would get to a lull point, I would just kind of fuck with it to see what I could and couldn't do, and it worked. It was seamless for me. I think the people that had buffering issues just probably had shitty Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I had no buffing issues. But one thing I noticed because I'm in another wrestling Discord as well. Um, some people were saying that international they didn't get ads.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but uh, I don't know what tier I share an account. I don't know what tier I'm on, but I didn't get any ads either.
You know what's funny? So I was listening to um, the Wade Keller podcast today, and he had like 5 or 6 people either in his live chat or that called in, and they were all in America except for like one guy that was in Canada. And some of them were like, I got no ads. And some of them said, I got all the ads. I got all the ads. Didn't bother me. Like, whatever. But one guy was like, yeah, well, I use a VPN and my VPN is still based in America, but I didn't get any ads.
Yeah, I have a VPN, but I don't use it. I haven't used it in a while. And you know what I compare it to? It compare it to is just like Peacock. It's like so when you're getting ads. Oh well, okay, so it kind of breaks down in two parts really. I think probably like maybe 3 times out the show when you were getting an ad, I was getting a promo like a Roman Reigns promo or Gunther promo. But then sometimes when they're in the match, when you got an ad, have you ever watched like the Fight TV version of Dynamite?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well,
They, they,
they'll keep the commentators will just kind of go into like in the business for themselves and talk shit to each other, but it'll still be
yeah,
live. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. So that's what they did. So for some of the times when you got ads, sometimes they just play through it and commentate through the match, and that's what I was watching.
I mean,
So
the show overall, like I didn't have an issue with anything. Like I would rather some of the finishes have went different, but it was just honestly like a 3 hour jerk off session. Like, yeah, we're on Netflix, we're selling this much money, and we're making this much money, and we're selling this many tickets, and all you stupid motherfuckers just paid money to come in here and see us. The one issue I had, it felt like it was Dwayne Johnson that was out there and not The Rock. It felt like the guy that was director of the board or on the board of directors, then it felt like the final boss when he came out. He was all smiling and happy and, laughing with the crowd and batting hands and talking about how great Cody and Roman are. And then he comes out like 20 minutes later and he's back to being the final boss character. I don't understand what the fuck is going on right now. Like, last time we saw you, you told Cody, I'm coming for you. I'm sorry. Last time we saw you, you looked at Roman and Cody and you gave him the fucking throat slit. And now this time you're like, shout out to my dog Cody and my cousin Roman, what up, nigga? Like, what the fuck? What are you doing, sir?
so that's kind of like a whole another thing I gotta address is that part of it. Like that was just non-canon. Like you said, it was more Dwayne and The Rock than The Rock. But looking at it from like I guess the bigger picture, because immediately when the show is over, I'm like, I did not like this at all. But if you're looking at it from what they've been putting out the past 2 years or so as like a Raw episode. But then I'm like, maybe if I look at it from like a different perspective, maybe they didn't want it to be a Raw episode. They wanted it to be almost like a pay-per-view because the production, like you said, the production was grandiose. So it was amazing how they presented it. They had all the pomp and circumstance. So if you're looking at it from this being like a standstill, almost like PLE, then I get why they played the show out. Because like you said, I didn't like any of the results really either because it feels like all of the matches were like the conclusion of feuds, like a PLE.
Right.
So like looking at it from a Raw perspective, it was kind of trash. No storylines progressed or anything. But
No
I don't know if
Gunther.
yeah, no, the world heavyweight champion is on there. Your WWE champion was like in the crowd. Uh, yeah, so looking at it from like the continuing saga of Raw, like it was, I didn't like it, but looking at it, if it was like a standstill PLE, then yeah, I get it. And yeah, with The Rock, yeah, I mean, it kind of feels like they are hedging their bets. They're like, I don't think he's gonna show up. We don't think he's gonna show up to WrestleMania, but we're gonna leave the door slightly cracked if we could spin the block and turn this into a storyline. Like you said, no mentioning of any storyline stuff, and he was just happy-go-lucky and presented the Olafala and peace.
But my thing is, all right, if you're gonna come out as board of director, don't come out dressed like the final boss. You come out with your little fucking belt that doesn't mean anything, your little vest on. Like, I'm like, oh, he's about to kick the show off. Shit's about to hit the fan. This motherfucker come out. What a great day to be alive in Los Angeles. Like, he hit the whole CM Punk thing. I'm like, what's happening right now? And I don't know if they're just trying to throw us off the scent, but after watching him give Cody his props and then seeing the backs, I don't know if you saw the Instagram live he did. By the way, this nigga drinks and drives more than anybody I know. Like, we really got Rock's PR is supposed to be like top notch. This motherfucker had a bottle of Terramana EJ, and him and Cody took a couple shots of it. He put the top on the bottle, opened his back door, threw an open container in his back seat, and then jumped in his pickup truck and drove the fuck off. Like,
I didn't
what are we
see
doing?
it. I didn't see it, but I heard about it, and you don't want to promote drinking and driving. I'm sure he probably just drove like a couple, meters down the street and then hopped into like a driver or his car service. I'm sure he wasn't driving himself to the airport, but still, not the best look as far as visual. Drinking it and like you said, throwing it in your backseat and dipping.
Okay, I mean, that's cool, right? But why not just have a driver there anyway? That way he can jump in the back seat with the bottle. I mean, it's something little, but it's also like drinking and driving's a big deal. And this is the second fucking time he's done this. And I'm a Rock guy. Like, hello, people's champ. Like, I'm a Rock guy. But this is a bad fucking look, man. Like, and I hate to be one of those people, but you've done it twice now.
Yeah, that's not like you said, drinking and driving. Like, it's one thing if you're Stone Cold drinking beers in the ring and then you don't see him once he goes backstage. But yeah, he's getting in the car. Like, what if you're a 12-year-old and like,
This
Rock out in
motherfucker
the car?
literally popped the top back on the bottle, opened the back seat, threw it in there, and then he jumped in the driver's seat and was like, see y'all at NXT. Threw the people's eyebrow up and rode the fuck out. Like, that nigga drunk.
Yeah, I bet he's gonna keep doing it because he probably does hear some pushback online. But The Rock does what The Rock wants to do.
Yeah. But you are probably right. Like, he probably drove out of the fucking, like, frame where the camera was and then stayed for the rest of the show. But I don't know. It's just not a good look. But I wasn't a fan of the Instagram story as far as, like, him and I shouldn't say I wasn't a fan. I just don't know what's happening. Like, you hated this guy for so long, and now you come back. We're literally in WrestleMania season. The Royal Rumble's like 3 weeks away. John Cena declared for the Royal Rumble, and now you and Cody are fucking butt buddies. Like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, before I dive into that a little bit further, just going back to something that we said before. Y'all were crying and bitching and complaining about Cody finishing the story. And me and Rucker said, no, that's not his story. Lo and behold, I'm leaning towards Rock not being a Mania. Y'all got exactly what y'all wanted. No Roman and Rock. So I don't want to hear anybody crying out there because we had a chance to get it. It was WWE's fault too. They didn't execute it the right way, maybe that they wanted to, and that played into
Cody's
it.
fault.
I mean,
Cody
does whatever they give him.
knew he was supposed to fight Rollins when he won the Royal Rumble, and he went up there and went the business for himself and pointed at Roman Reigns. Like, Cody's done some shit. Like, we all want to sit here and act like, oh, Rock just walked back in and he's big time, and Cody's got a little bit of fucking, and I think Triple H is in Cody's ear with this shit too, because Triple H and Rock were never fucking cool. Like, Triple H and Shawn Michaels basically fucking bullied The Rock when he first started, to where Bret Hart had to fucking step in and be like, yo, calm the fuck down. Like, this is well documented, right? They never really liked each other. Rock was always a bigger star than Triple H. Triple H fucking hated it. Shawn Michaels had to retire. Triple H was left by himself. He ended up marrying the boss's daughter, and he made himself to be bigger than The Rock, but he was never bigger than The Rock. And I think he's always hated that. And I feel like there's animosity there. I really do. And now that The Rock is his boss, he's got to kind of play ball. But even like the opening last night, like, Rock was supposed to be the first guy out there. So what happens? Triple H is like, nah. Let me sit in this fucking tent that makes no goddamn sense, and me be the first one that's on Netflix.
Yeah, of course he still naturally got an ego, but what do you mean Triple H made himself bigger than The Rock?
As far as booking, Triple H had the title way longer than The Rock.
Oh.
Beat The Rock a lot. Like, and
that's
booking wise, he made himself bigger than The Rock. But in the fans' eyes, like, he was never bigger than The Rock.
Yeah, that's literally the only thing he booked himself
Yeah.
to win the title a lot. But in the fans' eyes, the public perception, he's never bigger than The Rock. Never was and never will be. But
so the show starts out with The Rock. Tribal combat happens. Roman Reigns recaptures the Ulafala, becomes tribal chief. Rock presents him with the Ulafala. Everybody's waiting for something, and Rock just kind of stands there, proud, like, that's my fucking cousin, and that's it. Where do you think we're going with this bloodline story? Is there a bloodline storyline? Like, Solo doesn't have the fucking Ulafala anymore. Like, he's got no legs to stand. Does Jacob just whoop his ass now come Friday?
I mean, that would be the route to go. And I hadn't read any rumors or anything lately, but I think I saw a couple months ago Hikuleo's been signed. Maybe that's a way to, slide Jacob into the leader position and kick Solo out, and maybe have Hikuleo join his brother and his cousin.
But he just got his catchphrase over. I love you, Solo. They were loud as hell with that shit on SmackDown. Did you hear that?
Yeah, you could just easily change that love to hate.
I hate you, Solo. Yeah, I guess you're right.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if it was like a PLE, it just felt like all the storylines ended, and I expected for the storylines to continue. Like you said, if they would know they were rolling Dwayne Johnson.
Wade, damn.
Yeah, different sport. But Dwayne Johnson out there as the board director, they should have just either go all in with his character or just have him not interact with any of the bloodline stuff at all. No, don't mention them. Just roll them out there. If they had to roll them out there, I say, like, you probably shouldn't even came on at all if he wasn't going to do any storyline stuff. But like I said, they had to roll him out there in front of the Netflix bosses. Just don't have him interact with any of them, because like you said, like no storyline happened. He just presented them to Ulafala, and that was it. And I don't know where do you think Solo's gonna go next? Like you said, as far as like the Bloodline story, that might be it.
I have no idea what's next for Solo. Like, it's it's kind of scary for him, right? Like, you just did. First off, it was a really good position for him to be in, to be in a match one on one with Roman Reigns on Netflix, where who knows how many fucking people were watching that, right? Like, and yeah, you lost, but you still went toe to toe with Roman Reigns. Like, that's a big deal for Solo. Um, Now with him losing, I don't know, man. Like, he's lost before though. Like, he lost to Cody. He's lost plenty of matches since he's been a tribal chief. And that's the difference between him and Roman. Roman wasn't losing. Solo's losing all the time. So, like, how long can he keep these guys fucking brainwashed that he's a tribal chief, especially now that he doesn't have the Ulafala anymore?
Yeah, I have no clue where they go. Like with this Raw on Netflix, like, I have really no clue on like the direction or WrestleMania in general, especially with the women's title match, how that went. Uh, Even Jay and Drew, like I was surprised by that, even though Jay needed that big win. I finally called himself main event. Well, even though that wasn't the main event, but as the main event, Jay he lost a lot, but that was a big win for him. But yeah, I don't really know the direction of WrestleMania season, which I guess kind of be a good thing if it's not really predictable.
That's always a good thing. We can sit here and we can speculate left and right, but when we can't say, "Oh, I can predict the whole card," and 90% of it is right, I think that's a good thing. The Rock stuff, it's frustrating, but I think if he's going to be involved, it's a good thing that they're kind of throwing us off the scent. Honestly, like, I feel like he's going to be there. I feel like we're leaning way more towards Roman versus Rock than we are Rock versus Cody, though.
I hope you're right, but just the way how it played out, I think he's like, I got some shooting conflicts. I may try to get open. He's got the Moana Live. Like, if I can, then let's leave the door open like this. But I feel like if he knew concretely that he was gonna be there, they would have did something else than what they did.
Yeah, but my guy is fucking 280 pounds and he's 53 years old. Like, he ain't got many more years to be trying to do this. You know what I mean? Like, he looked good last year. Don't get me wrong. Like, he looked good at WrestleMania for his first match in like 8 years. But you just can't show up once a year at WrestleMania and be in the main event and just look okay. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna fuck your legacy up.
Yeah. I think it's this year or bust. Like if we don't see him at this year's WrestleMania, I think that door is closed. So
He's got to be though. Them tickets high as fuck.
I mean, people gonna buy them regardless of who's on. They just buy it just because it's WrestleMania. Like it is.
That's
what
a
it
whole
is.
nother topic too. That they never sold single day tickets. Like,
Yeah,
it was either buy
that's
both
weird.
of them or don't buy any, and that's to me that's really fucked up.
That is super messed up.
Because
But
you've always been able to, since they went 2 days, you've always been able to buy either a package or you buy one or the other. And now they're like, nah, go
Yeah.
both days or don't go at all.
That's crazy work right there.
Triple H just said, just say you broke, nigga.
Verbatim, probably said it. That
Hogan would have left the R on the end of it.
yeah,
Speaking of Hogan, let's talk about this motherfucker. Hulk Hogan comes out promoting his American Rebel, American made beer company. And they're a partner. Their fucking logo is on the ring mat. And I ask you, EJ, in 2025, the year of our Lord, why in the fuck would WWE think anybody gives a damn about Hulk Hogan?
I have no clue why they keep rolling this guy out who could barely even walk, and booed out of the building. That made my whole night.
Mm.
He got booed out of the building, and it's going to be a lot of discourse online. Well, he's in a blue liberal state, and then everybody who has a thinking brain was like, well, they had another Trump guy on there, Undertaker. They didn't boo him out of the building.
It wasn't about politics.
He's a racist, old, lying piece of shit.
Yeah, that could have something to do with it. So EJ, I didn't tell you about this, but as a podcast, we have secured audio of Hulk Hogan's PR team after he went out there and got booed. Would you like to hear it?
Yeah, let's hear it.
This is audio from the American-made beer company audio when sorry. I'm trying to do shit and then my phone's just like, oh no, we want you to. Anyway, this is audio from the American-made PR team when Hulk Hogan started being booed.
Bag up, Terry. Put it in reverse, Terry. Put it in reverse. Oh, Lord. Lord, Jesus. Oh, Lord. Oh, Jesus.
Classic.
What you doing, Terry? Terry, what you Bag up.
Classic firework tradition. Back up, Terry. Back up.
Bag up, Terry. Could you hear that well, or was it not coming through that well?
I couldn't hear it, but I'm only on Skype, so I'm sure the YouTubers heard it fine.
Yeah. Yeah, Hogan came out. He got booed. If you saw me on Twitter, as soon as he came out, I said, I hope they boo this motherfucker out of the building. And this was before they started booing. I was so proud. You know when your grandmother cooks something really good on Thanksgiving and everybody's eating it and she's just standing there and she's with her hand on her hips and she's just smiling? That was me last night. I was like, Los Angeles, you beautiful fucking city.
Yeah, loved every moment of it. So the feedback that I saw online, mostly on X Twitter, I'd say 85 to 90% were like, good, he's a racist piece of shit. But then you had that 10 to 15% that tried to defend him and they got their asses hopped on. But another, to counteract the minority that's, bending for him, he didn't deserve that. You can't just blame it on it being in a blue state as well, because what was it, a year or two ago they came to Florida. I think it wasn't even in his hometown. He got booed.
Yeah,
he got booed there. So that's the reddest state probably of them all. So people just don't want to cope with the fact that their childhood hero is racist. Well, they're probably just racist with him. That's why they're defending him.
You know what I realized? Looking through social media and shit like that, and we feel like everybody should know how much of a piece of shit he is, and everybody should know how racist he is. I found last night there to be a lot of people that had no idea about all the shit he said, and no idea about all the shit he did, and they're just like, "Why are y'all booing Hulk Hogan?" And people are like, "Cause he's racist," and they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I read a lot of that. I also saw a lot of people that were like, oh yeah, he got caught saying the N-word. I'm like, no, that's not all he did. Like, he said a lot more. And people were like, well, I didn't know about it. I thought he just, dropped the N-word and he apologized for it. No, that's not what fucking happened. And so people are like, I don't understand why y'all are so mad at Hulk Hogan. Like, he's our childhood hero. And I feel like most black people, know what he said and did, and other people just kind of ignored it or didn't see it, or like it wasn't in their algorithm, and so they just think, oh, Hogan fucked up, said something, he apologized, now it's over. Why are people still mad?
Yeah, he didn't give a real apology. I think he got a statement through like his PR person. He never had like any press conference apologizing, but maybe people don't know that as well. But I think you might be right. Go ahead.
Before you do that, his apology was literally not, I'm sorry for being a racist piece of shit. His apology was, if you're gonna be racist, make sure you don't get recorded. I'm sorry that I got caught. Like that's not a fucking apology. And then he starts tweeting out pictures of black people in Hulkamania stuff for like 3 years. Nigga, shut the fuck up. Like,
Yeah.
Sorry.
He could have, not to go too far off track, he could have, if he did like a genuine apology and try to like work with the community, understand what he did was wrong. Like, I may have never been back on. I was never really on his bandwagon like that anyway. But he's still a legend in the game. But I might have been like, he just might have just been neutral, all right. But he said some racist shit. At least he tried. He didn't try at all, and he like doubled down. And he's a liar, a piece of shit. So that goes with as far as that goes. But I had another point about it, but I forgot about it. Terry's just a piece of shit.
Speaking of a piece of shit, Rhea Ripley wins the women's championship over Liv Morgan. I just want to see if you're going to give a reaction to that segue or not. I was not a fan of this. I'm over Rhea as the champion. Also, my girlfriend pointed out last night, Rhea was looking real like, I don't even know the word. Like, she had no clothes on last night. It was like she was wearing a bikini. And even my girlfriend was like, she's never dressed that fucking scantily. Like, she had no clothes on last night.
Yeah, for some reason I wasn't paying attention to that. I don't know. But yeah, like I said, it felt like the end, like a PLE. Like this was the end of the storyline. Like I didn't like the result because like I don't know where you go with Rhea now that she's a champion again. I think you could have stretched this out till Mania with Liv having the belt. Even if you wanted to do it there, you could have had a wonky finish. But like I guess people are tired. This was the third match they had, and would have been a fourth you stretched out. But even if it wasn't Liv and Rhea, it could have lived in someone else. But now that Rhea's the champion, like I don't know. For some reason I always like the heels going into Mania as a champion more so than the baby faces, because like. Now my mind goes to they're gonna just throw Charlotte in that spot for some reason. That's where my mind's going to. Ugh. And like, since we last recorded Tiffy time, she won a title too, so she's a face. You got two faces of champions. I don't know, do both of them? Yeah,
you cashed in on somebody, and she also grabbed Bianca Belair and fucking threw her over the announce table, like. She beat up the faces too. I don't think she's quite a face yet.
Well, they're trying to. I think that might have been the official turn, because Nia and Candice LeRae were shitting on her the whole time, and crowds going crazy. So, yeah, like I don't know if I know Rhea probably will make the Mania. Who knows if Tiffy makes it the Mania's champion? Maybe this is her. Breakout year. I mean, she was still in NXT this time last year, wasn't she?
Yeah.
So going into Mania as a champion, that's like going to zero to 100 real quick.
If she has it that long.
That's what I'm saying.
Rhea and Liv, like I think if you haven't gained any respect for Liv Morgan and what she can do, I don't know how you will. I think this run of hers was really good. And I think she put on a really good match last night. I thought her and Rhea got good chemistry.
I wasn't a big fan of the match. I like, I guess, the finish of it, how she did like 3 riptides. Liv has really improved in the ring, but is she Becky? Nah, but
who is
the character work in it? The character work in this run was fantastic, but she barely defended her belt, just like Rhea has But it did the job. Like she's a bigger star coming out of it, so it did the job what it needed to do.
Yeah, just I don't know. I'm looking at the Raw roster, and I don't see a lot of heels for Rhea to work with, and they're saying this is the end of the feud, but like. Doesn't Liv get a rematch?
They quit going by that rule years ago.
Right, but Rhea got like 3 rematches versus Liv. until she won. So
Damn.
now that she finally won, I don't get to fucking fight her again.
Maybe not directly. Maybe somewhere down the line you get that another rematch. Because what Seth lost the world title, he didn't get an automatic rematch. He got it like at Money in the Bank down the line, I think. Um,
He
did
was
Roman
also
get a
injured
rematch?
though.
He was the longest champion ever.
Now he hadn't got his rematch yet versus Cody. He hadn't
Yeah,
wanted it though.
so
He's been too busy with Solo.
yeah, they pick and choose the invoking of the rematch clause. So I'm not surprised by that. If they don't give her one, but if they do, maybe they'll do it at the Rumble. I don't know.
You had Jay Uso versus Drew McIntyre. Jay gets the win via roll up. Um, WWE's really gonna have to have a conversation about Jay Uso. Like, you're going out of your way to make this guy so fucking over with his entrance and all his merch and all that. But do you have the balls to put the belt on him? And I
You
think he.
think?
Go ahead.
Good. No, I was gonna say because they've. I think the position in CM Punk. I don't know if he gets it off Gunther to have a run with that World Heavyweight Championship. Um, and I'm trying to think after him who's in line for it. Uh, Braun Breaker's still the IC champion, but they maybe grooming him. But that probably might be next year, maybe him in the mix of the Rumble. Um, but yeah, now that I think about it, Punk. I don't know if they'll go back to Seth, so maybe Jay could slip in there. You're gonna have people wanting Sammy to slide in there as well. But yeah, Jay might be on a short list now. I'm thinking about contenders as far as the Raw Championship goes. Drew might want another run. I mean, he's doing a great character work, even though he just lost to Jay. Because he never really had a real one. He had it for 5 minutes and Punk cost him. So it's interesting, this heavyweight title mix.
I feel like Jay needs the title sooner rather than later
Why?
because he's taken so many pinfall defeats. Like, even on SmackDown before Survivor Series, he got pinned. Last week, he got pinned by Solo in the match with Sammy, basically the Usos, Sammy Uso, Jimmy Uso, Jay Uso versus the Bloodline. He gets pinned. Jimmy Uso's right there. Like, he takes so many pinfalls. He got pinned by Braun Breaker to get the title, give the title back up. This is the most over guy. Honestly, like, if you watch that show again last night and you watch people's intros, besides The Rock, this was the biggest star on the show. And WWE, to their credit, I want to make sure I bring attention to this. During the Tribal Combat match, Sami Zayn and Jimmy Uso ran out to help. And then Cody ran out to help. They didn't send Jay Uso out there to help. And the reason they didn't was because they wanted the first time people saw him to be during his entrance with Travis Scott.
Travis taking a puff of weed on there. Shout out to Travis Scott.
They said that was Sage. That was Sage.
Oh,
He was trying to get rid of all the demons in the Intuit Center.
sure it was.
But
Um,
I don't know, man. I just feel like, and you know, I'm a Jay guy, but you can only be so over for so. Look what happened to LA Knight. Look what happened to
mean,
Zack Ryder.
LA Knight story still remain to be seen and written
He ain't as
because
over as he was though.
he still when he was out Friday, he still gets big pops, but they're not positioning him like he's getting those pop like the way they're booking him for some reason. But I mean, as far as Jay goes, it's nothing that heat him back up. I mean, perfect example was Bronson Reed. He was like literally the jobber almost, and it started with Seth, and they just heated him up. So you can have Jay easily do a rah rah speech like, "This is where I put my hat into going for this world title," and make them go on the streak if they want to go that way. It's like it's nothing to heat somebody back up as far as wins go, because he's still over with the crowd.
Good match with him and Drew. Uh, good storytelling with Drew fucking just Drew just can't get out of his own way. Like he's got the match won, and instead of just taking the win, he's like, "Nah, I want to kick this motherfucker in the face again." And he gets set up, and he gets rolled up, and the match is over. I thought it was a good match. I've heard people saying like Jay as a singles wrestler isn't that good. I don't know. I think he's had really good. He's had some duds, but I don't think it's just him. Like I think it goes with your dance partner as well. But he's had some really good matches too, and I thought this match was really good.
Yeah, the match was fine, but I didn't, I you know, but I didn't really care about like you get excited if there's like big implications. Like
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I
yeah. There was
didn't really
no.
care about the match.
Yeah, it was just a grudge match, and then for him to win with a roll up, like he doesn't get a title, so like you need a definitive victory there. You need to fucking Drew needs to like claymore him in the face like 6 or 7 times and win, or Jay needs to fucking spear him and super kick him a bunch and win. But a roll up was kind of like, yeah, he won the match, but Drew also fucking jumped you and put you out of action for like 3 weeks. Like you're not just trying to win the match; you're trying to beat his ass.
I mean, from what we've been talking about, and I don't think about maybe this is like the soft reset because you didn't have your heavyweight champion on there. Like, who's even involved with right now? He's really out of story. So maybe this is what they say. All right, we're premiering on Netflix. Let's go and the next story that's going into this year because I don't know what's going to happen with Gunther either. See people saying should be CM Punk. What else did I hear? Heard another name that I'm like, maybe it was like a Cody or something. Like that don't really make sense. They're both champions. Uh, yeah, CM Punk and Gunther. They're like, mm, I don't know. I have no clue. But that's a good thing, I guess, and it could be a bad thing if they haven't written it out. But by the way, we've seen the past couple of years they usually have everything mapped out by now. Like they said, Triple H usually books backwards from WrestleMania and then books the rest of the year. So we shall see.
Yeah. And the last thing on the docket was CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. It was a good match. When you look at how it ended, Rollins gave Punk the stomp, and Punk was close to the ropes by accident. Got his feet on the ropes. Rollins ended up taking the GTS, and instead of falling out of the ring or falling next to the ropes, he bounces off of the rope and lands back on Punk, who gives him another GTS and gets the win. The psychology of it I did like. As far as the finish, did Punk really need to beat Seth Rollins?
Not really, and then vice versa though. Like it's on. I get it. Like it's supposed to be Netflix. It's the big premiere on Netflix, but I feel like when you do it on a big stage, like at a big four, you're gonna remember it. Like we'll kind of remember this, but like you said, this is a clean win like that. This feels like this is a one off for them, and like you said, did CM Punk really need it? Seth probably would have benefited slightly more from it, but I mean, I don't know. I didn't necessarily like the outcome, and I'm not like a Punk hater, but like, what does it
Right.
really do? What is we know. What does it really do for either one of them to win on this Netflix show when the time is a little bit limited as well, and it's just like straight up win? I don't know.
I mean, Seth talked all that shit about Punk for years while Punk wasn't even in the company, and then Punk just walks back in and beats him. Like, I don't know. I just feel like if I'm
That's why I feel it's
Seth,
gonna be a
like
one-off.
behind the scenes, if I'm Seth,
Mhm.
I feel like, what the fuck? Like, this guy literally left, talked all kind of shit about us, wanted us to go out of business. He comes back. I've been your guy. Like, I've been your workhorse. I've done everything you've asked. And I gotta lose to this motherfucker?
Well, this might be the where they go next with the storyline. This is a way of going to the dark side and pitching a fit and you know, going ape shit. So, but it feels like a one off though. Like you said, if they weren't gonna have more matches, you would have had Seth win and then CM Punk get his get back. You know, I'm not usually a fan of 50-50 booking, but that would have made sense in this story. But CM Punk just winning straight up. Like now, where do you go with Seth?
Yeah, I don't know, but overall, I thought Raw on Netflix was decent. It was it was more like a Saturday night's main event. I'm more excited to see next week to see what happens when they go back to their regularly scheduled programming.
Yeah, I'm excited about that too. You got the women's IC title, and one more thing though, did you have issues with like the commentary? Like Michael Cole was going in and out the whole night.
No, I had no issues with that. I did hear people saying that though.
Oh, maybe it was the ad-free version that was happening
Yeah.
on. He was going in and out, and the picture was fine. Like they were, it was just like no commentary. The cameras just going around. So yeah, maybe that was. Hopefully, yeah, they'll work out the kinks. But overall, it was a good experience. No lagging issues on my end.
Let's move over to New Japan slash AEW. We had Wrestle Kingdom and Wrestle Dynasty this past weekend. I myself, EJ, enjoyed Wrestle Dynasty much more than Wrestle Kingdom, probably because I watched more of Wrestle Dynasty. Um, and I just want to say this before I forget.
Mhm.
Gabe Kidd and Kenny Omega fucking smoked it. Like, that shit was so good. I was sitting in my living room Saturday morning at like 6:30 before my kids and my girlfriend woke up, and I'm drinking coffee and I'm watching that, and I'm like trying my best not to scream at what I'm watching. Like, this shit was. I had heard of Gabe Kidd, but I
Mhm.
never actually seen him wrestle.
Yeah, Bullet Club member. I need to be more on New Japan. I was like a little more during the pandemic when they didn't have any crowds, and then I was like getting up on. It was like in between where Jay White was in it, and they were transitioning from him to Dave Finley. But yeah, apparently Bullet Club, they like the Wolfpack Red and Black and the Wolfpack White and Black. I didn't really notice that. You got the War Dogs, which are basically all the American wrestlers, and then you got House of Torture, which are basically all the Japanese, and they're all Bullet Club, but apparently they don't really rock with each other, which is interesting. But that's a side note. But yeah, I've seen some Gabe's kid stuff. He can go, but you know, the best bout machine is gonna elevate you to a higher level. So that was a good positioning, and they tore the roof down. And man, you see Kenny pouring buckets of blood. That was pretty intense.
Um, you know from being on this show with me, I'm not the biggest Kenny Omega fan, but when he came out, I was just like, I don't know. I got fucking juiced up. Like, fucking Kenny Omega's back. And he fucking looked good. Like, he was in great shape. He had a good outfit on, which I think goes a long way. Ring gear and shit like that. Like, this fucking guy looked like a star. And then to come out and your first match you've wrestled in what, like 15 months? Some shit like that?
Hmm.
To go fucking 40 minutes with somebody that's wrestled. Commentary did a stat. They said Gabe Kidd has wrestled like 193 matches since Kenny Omega's last match.
Jeez.
And for
Like
Omega to
how?
come out and fucking be able to keep up with him and go that long was fucking incredible. Like, and again, I'm not a Kenny Omega guy, but you have to respect the fucking game when it comes to what he did this past weekend at Wrestle Dynasty.
I'm a Kenny Omega in ring guy. Like I love watching his matches. I just think his character is a goofball. I don't really like his character because he doesn't have one like that. I like when he was the champion. That was pretty fun. But besides that, he's just like a nerd basically. When he was the belt collector, that was good. But but I didn't watch a whole lot of his New Japan stuff. His run, but I saw like his matches with Okada, which were off the chain. But yeah, shout out to him for not really having any ring rust and looking good. And I wonder if that's going to be a thing of his going forward, playing up the diverticulitis because he was playing that up.
They were
I, I
definitely
I
selling
get it.
that.
I get it. I get it. Like bring real life into the wrestling, but I think it'll get old after a while. If every match he's because Brock Lesnar had it and he doesn't. He didn't do that.
I remember Roman Reigns had like, did he have what do you call it? His appendix burst or whatever. He had an appendectomy. He was supposed to fight Bray Wyatt, and they ended up canceling the match because he had to have emergency surgery or something like that. And when he came back, that was the thing. Like people kept punching him in the stomach and shit. You remember this?
Who's this?
Roman.
Mm, nah, I definitely was watching then, but I just put that in the back of my brain. I can't recall off the top of my head.
Yeah, I remember they were using that. I want to think when he won the Royal Rumble and he fought Daniel Bryan at like Fastlane or whatever it was. Daniel Bryan was like punching him in the stomach and shit like that, and he was selling the fucking appendectomy
Okay.
surgery.
So if it was shortly after he won the Royal Rumble, that's like right before I got back into it because I wasn't really watching when he got booed at the Royal Rumble. Um, yeah,
What
so
channel
maybe
does
they'll play
NXT come on now?
CW.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe like you said, maybe they'll sell it for like a couple months and then they'll like slowly stop doing it. Now they build up
So
some.
I can't name one match from Wrestle Kingdom, but I can tell you I enjoyed Mercedes and Mina at Wrestle Dynasty,
Yeah, it's
Omega
good.
and Gabe Kidd at Wrestle Dynasty, and I thought Ricochet and Zack Sabre Jr. were really good also.
I was a little bit underwhelmed. I thought because I guess maybe because it's a clash of styles. Saber is like the technical twist you up guy, and Ricochet it wasn't bad, but I thought that we could have possibly it was either that or Omega the Takeshita Ishii match. That was like I'm sure Dave Meltzer's gonna get that. That was a really good match. You might not have time to have watched it, but yeah,
I'm
Takeshita
just
and
not an
Ishii.
Ishii fan. I don't. Anytime Ishii's
Yeah,
on my TV, I fast forward it.
and I'm not like a huge Ishii fan either because like his prime I guess was the 2000s, and I definitely wasn't watching then. But apparently he was like an in ring can go guy in the 2000s, and you got to adapt your style because it's AEW. He goes in there and hard hitting, but he actually like I never seen him wrestle like that. He actually wrestle, and we know what Takeshita does. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, man, in my opinion, Takeshita is a top 5 in ring guy in the world.
Top 5?
Top 5
Whew.
in ring guy because of course we got guys in the WWE that can go, but the style that they do, they just don't have a chance to go like they can because they're preserving their body because it's WWE. Yeah, Takeshita's 3 companies putting on these bangers every time he goes out wrestling often. Yeah,
Oh, nigga
top
Jack
5.
Tripper.
Yeah, yeah. You just got it signed in New Japan as well.
That's an old joke for people that are on YouTube. I don't think YouTube viewers are gonna get my Jack Tripper joke when you said Three's Company.
Yeah, come on.
One thing I do want to talk about, which I enjoyed Wrestle Kingdom, I enjoyed Wrestle Dynasty, I enjoyed AEW being at New Japan, but Tony Khan just, you take a woman like Athena and you build her up. She doesn't lose for 2 years. She's Ring of Honor Forever champion, and you send her to New Japan, and she just fucking loses to some woman that most people have never even fucking heard of.
Yeah, and maybe since it was buried on the pre-show, that maybe a lot of people will go underneath their radar. But why, I feel like they had three other people, and how come she had to be the one to take the
Right.
pin?
That was my exact fucking thing. I was like, I haven't. First off, whoever this woman is, this big woman coming out in this mask, she was hot. That's the first thing I thought. And then I thought, I've never heard of her before. And I thought, she's taking the pin. She was nowhere near the pinfall. Willow could have. Willow was in that match, right?
Yeah, Willow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Willow could have taken the pin.
Willow could have taken the pinfall.
She's not
Why
a
is
champion.
the ROH champion getting pinned in this match? You sent her to Japan to take the pinfall. She hasn't been pinned in over 2 years. The first time she gets pinned is supposed to mean something.
Only thing I think of is maybe they try to spin it into ROH storyline, like she's vulnerable now. But other than that, then yeah, I don't understand. But I think she may have taken a pin in a tag team match along one of the build-ups to her and Billy Starks. But don't quote me on that. But other than that, like you said, singles match, yeah, it's been a long, long time she's been pinned. So yeah, I don't understand that, especially in a four-way match. But I don't know.
Only other note I have from Dynasty and Wrestle Kingdom, you said Takeshida's top 5 in the world. I think Mercedes is top 2 in the world, and she ain't number 2 as far as women wrestler go.
I'm not pushing back on that. I can't name of anybody that's going like, because like if you look at WWE, like, and I'm not mad at it because when I go to WWE, it's a storyline company. I feel like their top woman, maybe that's because Becky's not there. Their top women haven't really been wrestling like that. I feel like Roxanne's been wrestling more than the main roster girls as far as like high level in ring stuff.
You say that, I'm literally watching Roxanne and Julia right now fucking kill it on NXT.
Oh man,
I'm
no
not gonna
spoilers.
I'm not gonna give any spoilers, but you literally just said Roxanne and she just did some crazy shit. Watching it in the background.
Another one. Julia's probably definitely Bakura. Probably like top 10. Like you got a lot of people who could go that are on your NXT roster as far as WWE and Mercedes. Like, yeah, who could you name that's better than her? And just strictly in ring.
Well, it's a lot of wrestling fans out there that just don't like women of color,
Well,
and so they try to tear them down. And I hate to be that guy. It's like
okay.
that, but it's a theme that I see. It's like Bianca, Mercedes, Naomi. Like, there's always something that they hate. Jade. Like, they can't just watch them and like them. It's always something that they got to try to tear them down with.
Yeah, and it's kind of like like you said, that factor. Like people just piece of shit. They don't want to give women of color any credit, but but kind of in the period, it's like the tide and the guard is kind of changing because no Charlotte, Becky's been gone, Bailey hasn't been what she has been. So like, who's wrestling better than Mercedes right now as far as in ring goes? And then you got these girls that are on the come up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And I
definitely an
mean,
interesting time.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, anytime I tweet out or say Mercedes is the best women's wrestler alive, somebody's like, "What about this woman in Japan?" I don't fucking watch Japan, so maybe I need to start saying the best women's wrestler in North America.
And, yeah,
But
yeah, that's a good way
you can't
to put
tell
it.
me that some random fucking woman in Japan that's a mid card is better than Mercedes for like Monet. Like, come the fuck on, you know? Like, it's one of those things where, oh, I'm a fan of Metallica. Yeah, but have you heard about this band that plays around the corner from my house? They're way better than Metallica. No, the fuck they're not. Okay? You just like them. They're not better than Metallica. And Mercedes is Metallica.
Yeah, it's a little easier to judge as far as actual wrestling because you get to see a body of work. Music is subjective, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, so Mercedes is doing it on the biggest stage. Like you can have the person on the smaller stage could do all the moves and athletic, but who knows how they perform when all of the eyes are on them and they're performing in front of 20,000 people. you know, pressure burst pipes sometimes, or they can make diamonds.
This is true. Um, let's move along to. We've been running a little long already. Um, Street Clothes Wrestler of the Week, EJ.
Well, I don't even know if I could call him the final boss. He just came out as The Rock, but this might be the last time we see him for a while. So I'll go with Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Styling like he always is. I don't even know what designer it is. I'm not that fancy and that much on fashion like that. It's something I can't afford. I don't know if it was Versace or uh, Gucci or Louis, but it was like a
Fosachi.
beige.
F
Yeah,
O
Versace.
Sachi.
F.O. Sachi. Yeah. Shout out to Uncle Elroy.
Uncle Elroy.
Yeah, he came out with the vest on as always, looking jacked. Nice dress pants.
To the gills.
Came out with the belt, like you said. Had his daughter's ringside, so that was cute. So
You know the worst thing in
my
the world is watching wrestling and The Rock comes out and your girlfriend's like, "How come you don't have shoulders like that, bitch? Because I ain't The Rock."
he's top 0.01% of physiques in the world, and
Right. I've been working out since I was 13.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so- and he's 53, like you said. Man's genetic freak.
That's literally what I told her. I said, "Wait till I'm 52," and she goes, "He was like that when he was your age." I was like, "You don't fucking know. You don't know The Rock."
In his prime, The Rock was like a body guy like that. He had a little bit of a gut, not like a gut, but he wasn't like he is now. He wasn't shredded. So shout out to The Rock.
My street clothes wrestler of the week, Kayfabe Chronicles, is sad that he left Joel. Dakota Kai. Whew.
Mm.
She was looking good at the Netflix premiere of Monday Night Raw last night. To the point where I was like, who the fuck is that?
Wow. Shout out to Dakota Kai. Um, I'm doing all types of fuck shit on my list this week. I'm cheating, but whatever. Because I got an honorable mention. Because I can't leave out somebody who won the championship. Uh, our girl Tiffany Stratton, or your girl Tiffany Stratton, she cashed in, and we didn't even talk about the way she did it. Like I thought that was magnificent the way she did it.
Brilliant.
Have you ever seen one like that with like two swerves? Maybe in the earlier days, like while I wasn't watching. Have you seen a swerve like that?
Yeah, I mean, it was, they oversold it where they were like, oh my God, this was a plan the whole time. I was like, she about to cash in. But if she wouldn't have, I would have been like, oh, damn, they got me. But when she did cash in, I was like, yeah, I saw that shit. But it was still
Yeah.
great. It was still really good. How she used Bianca to do it, and Bianca
Doing
fucking.
dirty work.
They fucking finally got Bianca to do the KOD to Nia after all this time, and it helps Tiffany win. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, so let's see what she does as the top woman on SmackDown. That was an honorable mention. My number five. I said I'm gonna do some fuck shit with this list. I got a tie for number five. Mercedes Monet, your new Rev Pro Women's Champion off of Mina Shirakawa, and still the TBS champion.
And she's the
And
queen
then
of whatever it was called. She's got 4 titles now.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow,
I
she's
thought they
just
gave her
collecting
that
belts.
fourth title. I thought they gave her the fourth title, and I was like, I don't think they're supposed to be giving her that title. And it kind of looked awkward. Like the ref was like, I'm supposed to take one of these back. And she was like, no, motherfucker, no, you're not. And then they announced it that she won the Queen of whatever championship also. So she's the quadruple crown champion right now.
Belt collector. There's still one title in AEW that she doesn't have. I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. But that's a tie with her and Takeshita, my number five spot. Still your international champion, and he's your new never open heavyweight champion as well. So, like I said, he got signed to New Japan as well, tripling down. So that's my number five.
My number 5.
You already did. I was about to say, did you do your number five yet? I guess not.
No, I haven't. Just you. My number 5, you just talked about him. your new never open weight champion and your international champion, Takeshita. Uh, Big time win at Wrestle Kingdom. And was that at Kingdom or Dynasty?
It was a dynasty.
Dynasty. My number four, we just talked about her. Top
Oh,
five
hold on,
women.
hold on. My bad, not to cut you off. He wrestled twice.
Yeah,
He got the
he
belt at
beat Ishii.
Kingdom Takagi, and then beat Ishii the next day at Dynasty.
Yeah, which is why he made my top five because he wouldn't have won twice.
Yeah.
My number four, we just talked about her as the best women's wrestler in the world, Mercedes Monet, now a quadruple crown champion.
Uh, where do you go from there? Collecting those belts.
Also, like honorable mention, I love Mina Shirakawa. Like, she is just fucking adorable and fun and just everything you want in a entertainer. And then the bell rings and she can actually wrestle.
Mm. I wouldn't mind seeing her in AEW full time, but not everybody wants to move over here, especially that's her native land. So, but
Yeah.
if she wanted to come over here, I wouldn't be mad at that.
Number four for
Did
you.
you got number four? No, I think you go. I went five. You went five. Now you go with your four.
No, I went five and four. Mercedes was my number four.
I'm tripping.
Kesha was number five.
I'm tripping. It's a long day. My number four, main event. He got his main event, even though it wasn't WrestleMania. But first Netflix show, CM Punk closed the show out over Seth freaking Rollins. And we talked enough about that. No need to harp on that again. Number three, another thing we hopped on, so no need to go into detail. Kenny Omega, the best battle machine, he's back. But one thing to talk about. I wonder what, like, I know you wanted him to wrestle on AEW first. He did make an appearance. He didn't wrestle there first. I don't even like where you got to finish out him in the Elite, I guess. Like, where do you go with him now that he's back?
Oh, it's got to be him and Okada.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I guess the Continental Belt. That's one he hadn't had. Right, put that on him. Won't be mad at that. Yeah, I think you got to wait to do that at Australia if you got to do it fast. Tony likes to do things fast. But that or Revolution. I guess we'll see. Yeah. Number three, Kenny Omega.
My number three, the original tribal chief. Got back to Ulafala and is now needing to be acknowledged. Roman Reigns defeating Solo Sikoa on Netflix. Number two is your new WWE Women's Champion, Rhea Bloody Ripley. Oh my God, I hate the way they keep saying Rhea Bloody Ripley.
Yeah, like they have to say Seth freaking Rollins. Like, we get it. My number two, your new women's world champion, Rhea Ripley. Defeating and Liv Morgan to get that title back again. Number one, I think we flip flop, man, is your tribal chief officially again with the Ulafala, the original tribal chief, the only tribal chief, Roman Reigns, my number one, kicking that Netflix show off.
Well, you said you were doing some fuck shit, EJ, and now here's my fuck shit that I'm doing. I had my top five all lined up, and then I woke up Sunday morning and watched Wrestle Dynasty, and there's no way that I can't have Kenny Omega in my top five. So my top five is actually tied. Kenny Omega and your new WWE Women's Champion, Tiffany Stratton. Toodles.
Yeah. I don't. She could go in the ring. I just need her to take that next step up as far as character. I feel like when she does her promo, it feels like a little bit like she's reading off a script. But now I think she's gonna be a babyface. Like, you left some doubt in my head now that you said earlier, because she didn't really. She did some heelish shit to win the title, but I think maybe they'll maybe at least at the very least do some shades of gray. So see how she is with that belt on. So,
Stephanie Vaquer is just such a star. I'm sorry, I'm watching NXT. She just. I know you said you think Julie is the bigger star, but it's something about Stephanie that just comes off way like I don't know, better to me.
yeah, I think they're positioning them to be right like long term rivals. So the cream always rises to the top.
We'll see. And then we got our bold or not so bold predictions for the year.
Yeah, I was gonna maybe let's do three, but that might be a little bit too much. Just do two, throw two out, two bold predictions for this year each.
Okay.
Um,
You want to go first?
I'll let you kick it off.
Jay Uso will be world champion this year.
Ooh, that is pretty bold. Oh, well, I guess I'll go with mine now. One of mine. I think that I had it formulated in my head, but now I'm like maybe that's a little bit too wild. I think CM Punk wins the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. I don't know if it's against Gunther necessarily, but he wins the World Championship.
Well, I hope that's not true. My other bold prediction: Ricochet is AEW champion by the end of the year.
Ooh, that is pretty bold, especially if they don't do short title reigns like that. My prediction is we'll finally get a reveal the first quarter of the year of like kind of like a high power with the Death Riders. I'm not gonna go on a limb and say it's like Shane McMahon, but I think it is gonna be like some type of blast from the past. Somebody who's prominent in like the '90s or the the early 2000s. So we get a big reveal as far as the Death Riders go. Because if not, then I don't know where the fuck you are with this story. So that's our bold predictions.
Well, that's all we got for this week, EJ.
Yeah.
Unless you want to predict the first round of the NFL playoffs.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean we could do that, but last year then we cap it off at as far as like actually tallying up for regular season.
Yeah, I was just
We could do predictions. We could do predictions for the playoffs, but as far as final tally, week 18, you went 11-5. Week 18 is like the most predictable, but you did well. I was doing like at the early games, I was like fucking up. I'm like, shit, I'm gonna. But then I started finally hitting on it, and I went 10-6. That puts overall for the year 180. I went 180 and 92, and you went 162 and 110. So I'm waiting for 2 bottles of alcohol now.
damn.
No rush.
Double or nothing next year.
I don't know about that.
Right, we double or nothing next year. No, I got you.
Playoffs. You have the playoffs in front of you? It only take me like 2 seconds.
I don't. I can pull it up if you need me to, though.
Nah, I got it. Man, it like life happens and like, man, you're so excited when the football season starts and coming to the end. We still
It
got
just
some
flies
college.
right by.
You got college football still going on, which is good too, but it's coming near the end. We're already in wild card weekend. It's
NFL
crazy,
Wild
man.
Card weekend. We got the Denver Broncos traveling to Buffalo to take on the Buffalo Bills.
I saw a Sunday game, right?
I don't know what day they're on. I'm just reading them.
Well, yeah, that's a Sunday game. I have I think I saw a sneak peek of your picks. I'm going with the Bills. I'm going with the Bills in this one.
Yeah, I got the Bills also. You got the Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to Baltimore to take on the Ravens, and as much as I hate the Ravens, I hope they win it all.
That's a Saturday night game on Prime. That's interesting because I know when they do that, the local markets will get it on their local channels, but NFL, they're going in on this streaming being the future. That's crazy. Like I think they're isolating the older viewers a little bit, but what do I know?
It's pretty fucked up. The playoffs should not be on a streaming service. Like, if you want to put random Thursday night games and Saturday night games during the season on there, that's fine. But the playoffs, I should be able to turn my goddamn TV on and watch the playoffs.
Yeah.
Old man.
I know eventually we'll. I know eventually we'll get there, but you think that'd be like 20 years down the line. You still got a lot of our parents who don't know how to work that shit that are still around. So yeah. I got the Ravens though.
I got Ravens also. Los Angeles Chargers traveling to Houston to take on the Texans. Texans, I feel like they always play Saturday night because nobody gives a fuck about them.
They like been winning this division like every year for a good bit now. Well, I think the Jaguars got a little season, win season in one of their years, but CJ Stroud's been killing it. I don't expect them to go that far. This would be my upset. Give me the Chargers.
I got the Chargers also. The Green Bay Packers travel to Philadelphia to take on the number 2 ranked Eagles, and this will be my upset. I got the Packers doing to the Eagles the same shit they did to the Cowboys last year, coming in at number 7 and beating the dog shit out of Philadelphia.
Yeah, this will not be my upset. I got the Eagles. Because I was looking at, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I was looking at the Packers and the Bears because they still had something to play for. They didn't look good. They had their starters in. They didn't look good. And that's not a good way to trend, but playoffs is different. Yeah, I got Eagles winning that one.
Washington travels to Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers.
Give me this as an upset. Give me Jalen Turner. That's not his name. What's the kid? Jaden Daniels. Give me him at the upset.
I got Baker Mayfield and the Bucks. I don't think that's an upset though. Washington win. I think Washington's a better team. Honestly, I think the Bucks winning is an upset. I think Washington's better than Tampa.
Well, I know 3 points is basically a given. That's what it is. Basically, you're saying it's a pick-up. Tampa Bay's favored by 3 points.
You got the Minnesota Vikings traveling to LA to take on the Rams. Minnesota loses to Detroit. They could have been the number 1 seed. Instead, they're the number 5 seed. That's crazy. You play one game at the end of the year. You can either be the number 1 seed, have a first round bye, and home field advantage, or you lose and you basically have no home games. That's fucked up.
I know the NFL would have been pissed, but if you like the Vikings, what could have been like, we're not playing any starters. We'll just rest up for the first round of the playoffs. But
why would they do that? Because if they had a chance to win, they could have been the number 1 seed.
Maybe they don't believe in themselves. Like, we know we're not going to win because they put all their players in and still got stomped. But, hindsight is always 20/20. The Rams have been like coasting and had a solid season. For some reason, I don't trust them. Give me Vikings.
I got the Rams.
Wild card weekend. Always good having football on. Playoff football on.
Should be fun. You got anything else you want to say before we get up out of here, EJ?
Nah. Shout out to everybody who checked in and out during the show and commented on live. Now that we're up and up ready again doing the live. So shout out to everybody that's supporting the show.
Yep. Thanks to everybody for watching. Thanks to everybody for listening. As usual, you can find us on YouTube live every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and on audio on all your favorite podcast players. For EJ Reed, I'm Chris Rucker. This has been Boot to the Face. Until next week. Peace.
Yeah, Mr. Chaos. Boot to the face. Let's go.